Hello everyone and welcome to another short video on our own devices. I'm Jean Messier and today we are having a look at a very nifty piece of vintage audio equipment. This is the Thorens Excelda, a Swiss gramophone manufactured between 1932 and 1947 and one of the first designed to be truly portable, meaning that this is effectively the precursor to the transistor radio, the Walkman, the iPod, you name it. So like I said, this is a very nifty little design, so without further ado, let's dive right in. So Thorens GmbH was founded in St. Croix, Switzerland in 1883 by Hermann Thorens and started out manufacturing clock movements and music boxes. Due to their experience with clockwork mechanisms, in 1902 they branched out into making phonographs, and if you want to learn more about the early history of sound recording and the evolution of Edison wax cylinder phonographs, please check out my previous videos on those subjects, links in the description. At various times, Thorens also made other products like harmonicas, cigarette lighters, and even children's toys, but today we'll be focusing on their audio offerings. Early Thorens cylinder phonographs like the Minerva, Majestic, Capital, and Royal were closely modeled on American machines like the Columbia Cube, but were distinguishable by details like the lyre-shaped end plates on the drive mechanisms. Later models were even more distinctive, featuring colorful cases and horns decorated in the then popular Art Nouveau style. By 1907, Thorens also sold several disc-playing gramophones, including the Harmonia, Standard, Popular, Daisy, Crown, Triumph, and Helvetia, which could play 7, 10, or 12-inch records. Another, even more interesting product was the hexaphone, a precursor to the modern disc changer or jukebox, which played one of 6-cylinder records when a coin was dropped into the mechanism. And in addition to its own branded products, Thorens also manufactured components like spring motors and even complete players for other companies, such as the Cleopatra sold by BB & Company of London. Now, by the late 1920s, early 1930s, Thorens employed some 1,200 people worldwide and had branch offices and distributors in dozens of cities across 5 continents. And it was during this period that they released this, the Excelda, which, as I mentioned, was one of the very first truly compact record players, easily carried by hand, on a bicycle, or on public transportation, to the beach, the park, etc. So let's have a closer look at this, and let me show you how it works. The Excelda was designed to look like the folding cameras of the era, and indeed a popular name for the Excelda was the Cameraphone, meaning that this word actually predates modern smartphones by nearly a century. Here we have an elliptical plate reading patented and Swiss made, but otherwise any other markings this may have long since worn away. Now, the cover is held in place by this nut, and initially I thought this was a rather odd design choice as this can easily be lost, but as we'll see a bit later, it actually makes a lot of sense. If we undo this nut and lift off the cover, we can see our main components nestled inside. A spring motor and turntable, a reproducer and tone arm, a resonator box, and a winding handle. And we assemble this as so. And insert the winding handle into this hole on the side. And you'll notice that the handle has a pair of beveled slots that engage with these pins on the winding spindle, forming a one-way clutch. And after winding up the mainspring, we start the motor and turntable by lifting up this lever on the inside of the case, which also allows us to adjust the speed of the record. Now, since the Excelda lacks a full-size turntable to support the record, the instructions actually suggest that you stack 2 records together for added stiffness. Further, and I told you this would come up again, you are supposed to secure the record using the nut that holds the cover in place. So, still not ideal since you can easily lose the nut, but cleverer than I first thought. Now, I would love to be able to demonstrate this for you, but unfortunately the mainspring has significantly weakened with age and the motor no longer produces enough torque to overcome the friction of the needle, so sorry about that. Finally, if we undo these screws on the bottom, we can remove the entire spring motor assembly. The mainspring is located in this cylindrical housing and drives the mechanism via crown gears and this centrifugal governor, which has 3 weights connected to a friction plate. If the motor spins too fast, the weights are thrown out and the friction increases, reducing the speed of rotation. The friction plate is also connected to the control lever, allowing the speed of the record to be manually adjusted. Now, Exceldas came in 6 different colors of crackle finish, black like this one, gray, brown, red, green, and blue, and originally sold for 96 Deutschmark or 40 Swiss francs, or around $550 in today's money. Interestingly, a knockoff copy of the Excelda was made in the Soviet Union by the Moscow Pathaphonic factory. Thorens also produced a number of wooden-case portable gramophones, including the Cristallet and the Gramophone, the latter of which was also rebadged and sold under other names like the Cameraphone or Pixie Grippa. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the Excelda remained in production until 1947, though Thorens remained in business for another 50 years, going bankrupt in 1999. However, they were quickly reorganized as the Thorens Export Company AG, and the company, now based in Bergisch Gladbach, Germany, continues producing high-quality record players and other sound equipment to this day. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I had actually never heard of the Excelda until I came across this example at a local antique sale, and it's always fun to come across new gadgets and to confirm that there is nothing new under the sun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time in another video where we'll look at yet more fascinating audio equipment and other devices just like this one. Until then, I'm Jean Messi from Our Own Devices. Have a great day.